Ready? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Oost. Is curing patients a sustainable business model? Now, who would ask that kind of question? All right, that's what we have to ask ourselves. I'll tell you who would ask that kind of question. Somebody who's never been sick. Somebody who doesn't have your best interest in mind. So this is kind of an older article, but back in 2018, Goldman Sachs actually asked a biotech company, is curing patients a sustainable business practice? Is it practical from a business standpoint? And the reason they asked that is because this particular biotech company created a treatment for hepatitis C that was over 90% effective. So they were curing people, which in my opinion, as somebody who has been sick and who has dealt with that, that's an amazing thing. That's where we should strive to be. We should strive to cure people. We shouldn't be about treating illnesses and stringing people along for, years, decades, or possibly even their entire lives, treating the issue but never addressing the root cause. It should always be about addressing the root cause. And that's what this biotech company was doing. But Goldman Sachs, being an investor, and we're going to get into them here in a second, they didn't think it was sustainable. And that's what we're up against here. And the reason I'm making this video is because I want to make it very clear for everybody so that everybody understands that these industries, pharmaceutical, medical, a lot of the healthcare in general, doctors, nutritionalists, all these people, they don't have our best interest in mind, because if you're cured and you're healthy and you don't need medical or pharmaceutical intervention, you're not a patient. You're not making them money. So any industry that's profiting from our illness is not to be trusted, in my opinion. I mean, how could they be? If you're their business practice, like you are their business, you're what's making them money. If you're not sick, their business doesn't exist. So it's in their best interest to make sure there's enough sick people out there. And don't get me wrong, there's enough stuff in our modern world that's going to allow there to be a lot of sick people, because we've got the food, which is absolutely toxic. We have all the environmental stuff, all the stuff we're exposed to, the drinking water, clothing. I mean, everything in our modern environment is basically poised to make us ill. But beyond that, it also ties back to these companies, because these companies fund a lot of these studies. A lot of these studies that make us believe that certain foods are not healthy and other foods are, and a lot of that stuff is basically upside down. They flip the food pyramid upside down, and they've done all this stuff for a reason. And that's so that they can have enough unhealthy people to make them rich. So Goldman Sachs in particular, they are a strategic partner of the World Economic Forum. And if you're not familiar with the World Economic Forum, they're essentially a bunch of self-appointed globalist leaders that think they know what's best for us. They think they know what's best for the planet, the environment, the food system, people, pretty much everything. They think they know it all. They essentially try to play God. They try to dictate everything. They try to play the government. And they just try to control our lives. And the bad part about this is that when Goldman Sachs is a strategic partner with somebody like the World Economic Forum, that means that Goldman Sachs is going to be heavily influenced by the WEF's policies. And the WEF's policies are don't eat meat. It's be vegan, be vegetarian, be plant-based. That's exactly what they want the planet to be in general, the entire planet. And if you go to their website, you can go to c40.org, you can go to the World Economic Forum website, you can go to even our government's website, the Eat Lancet food pyramid and all that stuff they've come up with. All that stems from this WEF cabal. And another big point here is that these private investors, these, Goldman Sachs, BlackRock, Vanguard, State Street, all these private institutions, they own and control most, I'm talking like probably somewhere upwards of 90-some% of the corporations that run our food industry, the corporations that run our healthcare industry, medical industry, and our pharmaceutical industry. They're the primary shareholders for all of these companies. Okay? It sounds kind of crazy, but when you have an institution that has billions or trillions of dollars of investments and shares into these companies, they have a very large say on what goes on within that company. And they cut corners. They make toxic food. They push plant-based ideologies. They ensure that there's enough sick people to go around so that their pockets stay fat. That's what this is all about. It's about money. It's about the bottom dollar. And when you have Goldman Sachs asking if curing people is a sustainable business practice, that is a very telling sign and a very clear indicator that these people don't have our best interest in mind, and the only thing they're focused on is profit and greed. So when it comes to taking control of our health, we are our own best health advocate. There's nobody out there that's going to have your best interest in mind more than you. And that can make the waters kind of rough to navigate, but understanding and knowing that is actually very empowering. So don't let that dishearten you. Let that empower you. Let that allow you to understand that your health is in your hands. That if you want to fix yourself, if you want to improve your health, if you want to lose weight, if you want to reach your fitness goals, you know, whatever it is, if it's health related, it's up to you. And the good thing about that is that each and every one of us holds the power to make that happen. The information's out there. There's information everywhere online now. That's the reason I put these videos out, because I've learned so much along my healing journey. I want to share that with people, because I know when I was going through what I went through with my health, finding information back in 2017, 18 time frame, it was a lot harder than it is now. There's a lot of information out there now, and a lot of these ideas like carnivore, keto, low carb, zero carb, stuff like that was kind of fringe topics back then. It's a lot more mainstream now. It's gained a lot of traction, and there's a lot of people that's caught on, so there's a lot more information out there, and it's not as taboo or frowned upon as it was back then. So it makes things a lot easier. So just keep that in mind. You know, even though we're up against these ultra rich people and these people that are basically using us for profit, you know, they've monetized us, and that's all they care about, is monetizing us and keeping us trapped in that system. Just realize that there is a way to escape, and we all hold that power, and we're very, very capable of doing that. Scoop, right? Boom, bam! Get that joker. Boost. So if you're looking for a community of people that do have your best interest in mind, be sure to join this tribe, because that's what this tribe is all about. It's about a bunch of like-minded people coming together for a common cause, and that common cause is health. It's about optimizing our health. It's about optimizing our nutrition and becoming the most optimal version of ourselves that we can possibly be. So be sure to let me know down in the comments below what you think about this. Do you think it should be about curing people or making money? And if you really want to see how deep this cabal goes, be sure to watch this video right here.